All right, welcome back to part two of our episode with Travis Thomas, where we got a chance to talk in part one about his journey with the U.S. men's national soccer team for 2022 World Cup, what to expect in 2026, and then but now we're gonna get into what this means to us, whether we have a youth athlete, we're a coach in the youth sport landscape, or otherwise. So, stay tuned. Check it out.
Welcome to Limitless Minds, the podcast where curiosity meets greatness. If you're ready to discover what it takes to be truly limitless and push beyond your own limits, you're in the right place.
Just all those little ways that we exercise. What is right when we perform at the highest level? We're performing at the highest. We're performing at a high level because we're present in that moment. Well, then we need to develop that muscle of being present in the moment by doing things consistently that help us be present in the moment, i.e. meditation, i.e. grounding, i.e. improvisation, i.e. anything that helps you exercise that muscle. So when the emotions are high and the pressure is high, you have this wealth of experience and knowing how to get present that you can fall back on.
Love that. Yeah, you got to train it, right? Resiliency, adversity tolerance, being focused. You can train this stuff, and that's what the best of the best do. They take the moments and they do train it. Speaking of the best, this is what we're going to be able to watch this summer throughout the 3 to 6 weeks of the World Cup. What would you want, like, youth players in any sport? What would you want them to look for and kind of take out of seeing this unbelievable event that we're about to witness in our country?
Yeah. And I that's a great question, right? I always love in the big moments. I love reading body language in the big moments, right? And it'd be a fun game to play. And like now, my own kids will do this, but like my son, I can't remember. The 18-year-old just graduated from high school, and we were watching. Shoot, what's the sporting event we were just watching? It was golf. It was the championship, and one of the players was getting ready to putt, and he said, and he made the putt. I think it was what's his name, Ra, who won it. He sank that 30-footer on the 16th or 17th hole, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And so they kept showing the replay over and over and over again. And my son Shepard says, "Dad, look at the breath." Right before the putt, big, deep, clearing breath right before the stroke. And I always love in the high pressure situations, whether it's Brunson at the free throw line, whether it's Ronaldo standing over a free kick, whether it's, for American fans, watch Sebastian Berhalter take a corner kick or a free kick. It's like, and then just that big clearing breath. And so I love in these games, it's like once you notice something, you can't not notice it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing you see LeBron doing on the bench at timeouts, right? The breathing, right? Taking that big, and we know physiologically, emotionally, mentally, what the power of breath and breathing and how it regulates us through those high pressure situations compared to when we're elevated and it's short, and our emotions are kind of driving us. So I love from the standpoint of just notice players, notice their body language, notice how they're breathing in those high pressure situations. And Harry, to your point about we're talking about here the best of the best, and then what's the connection even with youth athletes? The funny thing is, when I'm working, at the same time while I was on the national team, I was still the assistant coach to my son's U14 soccer team at the same time. And so what would I do? What would I do to players before games? I'd go up and put my arm around them, right?
That's
I'd
awesome.
say, "Hey man, where else would you rather be right now? Dude, you're getting to play
ice cream.
soccer."
I'd rather be getting ice cream.
I was like, besides that, Josh, besides that. And the fourth or fifth thing on the list would be here. I'm like, all right, we got to work on that. But it was the same question. And it was still me going, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey, be the guy that got you here. Hey, just be yourself, right? Go out there and just be yourself." And so it really doesn't change as we get older. It's the same principles. How we connect to them might be a little bit different, but the same thing we're trying to get a U14 to do is the same
Yeah.
locked in mindset that the pros do.
Well, it's interesting because obviously I mentioned Gracie's my oldest, and she's a U14 field hockey player. I know field hockey is a much smaller sport, especially here in the States, but even globally, pound for pound than soccer. But similar concepts, like the field is very similar, right? Similar
Yeah.
concepts from regards to spacing and off ball movement, all the different things,
All the elements.
and so all the elements. But one thing that I would add that I've been kind of messaging, whispering into Gracie's ear, if you will, is and I think you mentioned this earlier, but this joy component,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because what's crazy about youth sports now, and this is I feel like it's widely known. I feel like people are feeling this is that it's being so commoditized, so commercialized.
Hmm.
There's a lot of money in this thing. And from a standpoint of hey, organizations are making a lot of money on these kids and parents, and then of course now the younger kids are making money, whether it be NIL and I'm hearing whispers of high school,
Yeah.
deploying NIL, there's scholarships, all the things, right? So pressure has risen. As a result of that ecosystem, specialization has risen.
Hmm.
Instead of playing multiple sports, 3, 4
Yeah.
sports, we're
Yeah.
playing just one year round. There's all these ripple effects from it. And I think as a result, our kids, whether 13 to 18 years old, I think there's like 70% of kids quit said sport by 13.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
once you make it beyond that, now you're prepping for high school. There may or may not be college implications. There's so much pressure. You have parents that are like feeling the pressure for their kids, living vicariously through them, all that stuff.
Never see
And
that.
so you notice that yeah, I know, right? You notice that kids kind of start losing the joy for the game. Like, why'd you pick up the stick? Why'd you pick up the ball? Why did you get on the pitch for the first time? Why
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
because when you were 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever it was, like you just love to play, right? And so, I know when the biggest tournaments come, my daughter plays in one this weekend. Like my main thesis for her when I give my little dad mindset
Yeah.
pep
Absolutely.
talk is just like remember that this is just a game. Remember, like just
Yeah.
play with joy. I better see you smiling, as often as you can, right? I better see you celebrating with your teammates when they score a goal or when you make an assist, somebody scores, somebody just makes a great tackle, whatever it is.
Little
Like
mudita.
like share that joy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Share that joy because that permeates. And so that's one thing I would say to youth athletes is like, hey, like this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
You know what I
So is
mean?
that
Like
is that kind of
find the
what you're
joy.
looking for, Harry? Is like the joy of the players and maybe
Yeah.
what seeing
Yeah, I
their
mean, like
joy?
if I was recruiting, right? If I was recruiting athletes, I mean, if I'm going to see a player, I already know they can play. That's why I took the trip,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm really not concerned with how they play per se. I mean, that's certainly something on my list I'm looking for, but the reality is that I want to see what they're like when they're off ball.
Hmm.
Are
Hmm.
they communicating at the highest level? Are they finding the open space? Are they hunting? Even though they don't have the ball, are they hunting? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then when they get pulled for a break, for a breather, or they get pulled for any other reason, what's their demeanor like
Yeah.
on the sideline?
Yeah.
How are they communicating from the sideline? How are they communicating with their coaches? Hell, how do they communicate with their parents after the game?
Yeah.
That tells you a lot. And really, maybe parents, how you're communicating with your kids. If I was recruiting, I'd be interested to kind of observe parents and see what is that parent like, because that probably is going to be an indicator of what this kid is like, especially when the times
Hmm.
get hard,
Yep.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so there's so many things that are those intangibles that I think make up whatever arbitrary number 80% of what I think is going to make a great or an elite player from youth to amateur to pro, whatever it might be. And so, but I mean, the joy, that's one thing I would definitely be looking for is like, does this person love the game, whatever game that is?
Yeah.
Do they love
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
We hear that a lot with sports. I don't love the game anymore. Or, once I stop loving the game, I'm gonna hang it up. And that's important. Once you stop loving the game, like all the other shit you have to go through, the training, the grind, the injuries, the recovery, it gets 10x as hard
Yeah.
at that point. You
Yeah.
know,
It was interesting when I was working with the Cubs and I worked a lot with their scouting department with our scouting department at the time.
mhm,
And
mhm,
one of the questions that we would always ask about a player, does this player love being good or do they love baseball? And
Hmm.
that
mhm,
was we were trying to dissect that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
because we're looking at them, they're good, right? And
Right.
so that
Right.
joy that they're having, is it just because they're good or do they actually love the smell of the ball? Do they love the dirt in their cleats? Do they love being in the dugout with their teammates and do they love the work? So that was something we always had to pull apart. And I think
yeah,
for me, like watching the World Cup, one thing that I want to encourage my sons to watch is the response to a mistake.
Yeah.
How do these elites, do they lose the ball and jog back? Or do they do like Arsenal did during the season, where it was the 97th minute and we're up 2-0, 3-0 on a team, and we lost the ball, and there was 8 players that sprinted back for defense.
Yeah.
They it's like, how do you respond to that failure, even when failure maybe doesn't even have the massive consequences? It's because that's how you're gonna, like Travis said, how you do anything is how you do everything.
You know what's
So
interesting though, guys,
that's
and I'm gonna say this as a obviously a massive sports fan, but
brothers,
also a intermittent soccer watching fan.
champions.
One of the things that I feel like I notice when I watch the highest level soccer is the dramatics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you get slide tackled, you fall to the ground, you're holding your knee for 4 minutes. Is that a tactical thing? Is that like, I'm gonna give my team time to settle? Are you trying to draw a card? And then of course there's like the mob of like around the ref or
Yep.
around, like when there's a call that's that could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Like, is that a tactical piece to like slow down the game, slow down the moment? What is that? Tell me about that as a non, soccer guru.
Yeah, I mean it's all of it. It's all of what you said. It's embellish the rolling around to try to make the punishment, whether it's a yellow card or something else, more to try to sell to the referee, even if he doesn't get a card. But like, oh, the next time this person follows him, you're setting it up. There is a tactical aspect from when a team is winning. And every time that there is a foul, they will fall down and roll around because the clock
Whole time.
is still going. In soccer, one of the unique things is the running clock that obviously is kept by the head official. And so we would call that the dark arts in soccer, which is when you're winning, especially in the second half, you do everything that you can to muck up the game, to slow it down, to take out the rhythm, to take the air out of the ball. And so all of that is very tactical, and it's one of those things where, and we start to see it bleed over into the NBA and other sports, where it's like, if there is an advantage in being dramatic, right? If there's if this is going to help our team, and then with soccer, you've just got generations and generations, especially with different cultures as well, where it is so deeply embedded into the culture that until the rules start to punish that kind of behavior, it's going to stay.
Well, the reason why I brought it up though, Josh, like in Travis, is like we were talking about how people watching in the in the World Cup, like how people respond to some of these moments.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you wonder, you see like what looks like negative response, like something that shouldn't be helping the mind, like kind of the performance of these players. But the question for me was like, oh, well, actually that might be a tactical component, less of a like a organic response that's negative. It might just be like, hey, I'm actually doing this to slow down the game. It's tactical. It's not necessarily an emotional thing.
Well,
so I was trying to delineate. Yeah.
One of my favorite stories is, and I talk about like Weston McKennie for the U.S. team, who I think is such a pivotal player for the success of the U.S. team. He was one of my favorite players because I felt like his emotional control was elite. And he's a player that is physical. He's always in every little skirmish. He's going to be in the middle of it. And he's actually usually regulating the situation. And so when we were playing,
he did punch a Mexican player and get a red card after the game.
Weston didn't.
I thought he did. Remember the big brawl in the, like, whatever it was, the Confederations Cup or something like that? I can't remember what it was. It was like maybe a Gold Cup or something. Or Nations League. It was like Nations League.
I don't think it was what actually the first Nations League final that it was 2021. We were playing in Denver. It was a pro. We were playing against Mexico. Most of the fans there were pro Mexico. Super hostile environment, and we're getting like when the players on the sideline, stuff is being thrown at them, and it got really, really chippy between the players. And there was this funny moment where, and like Weston's jersey's all ripped and everything, and there's a player from Mexico who has his hand on Weston's throat and is just, and Weston is not reacting. He's got his hand on his throat. He's leading him around. Weston's not reacting. Then, other players come in, they get separated. And then the officials are having to talk and figure out who's going to get cards or whatnot. And they cut, it's 30 seconds later, they cut over to Weston. Weston's got a water bottle right? He's taking a drink. Standing next to him is the guy that was grabbing him by the throat, and Weston's sharing his water bottle with the Mexican player. And I'm like, oh, like it just like he has this thing. He's like, none of this is personal. Like none of this is like, but that's not a gift that that everyone has. Yeah. That was fun.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, listen, here's the reality. We're kind of up against it on time. So I think what we should do here is just kind of wrap up and just let's do this. Let's do our predictions. Why not? We're about to go in the World Cup. Let's make this a sports podcast too. What are your predictions for the World Cup? What teams do you feel like have a chance to win it? And then are there any dark horses in your mind? So I don't know. Travis, you want to go first? Harry, do you want to go? Doesn't matter to me.
I should not go first.
Travis, why don't you go first? You're the soccer expert. Who do you feel like has the best chance of winning? That you would, you feel like, okay, that's my pick. And then who's a dark horse?
Yeah, I think France. I think France is my favorite. Right, just a
Dembele, Mbappe.
Right, they just have a treasure trove of talent. I think my number 2 would have to be maybe Spain. I like their chances as well. My dark horse, hey, at this point, U.S. is a dark horse, right? U.S. is a dark horse. My prediction for the U.S. and I think quarterfinals. I think U.S. makes it to the quarterfinals. Which I think would be a huge accomplishment.
Huge accomplishment. We've only done that once in our history. That was 2002. Landon Donovan,
Greg Berhalter, Brian McBride.
Brian McBride. All those dudes who were just amazing.
Yeah. So I'm
Friedel, right? Brad Friedel.
Was it Friedel or Keller?
No, Keller was the number 1 going into it, but Friedel took over and paid the penalty against South Korea. Yeah, just watch a little bit of soccer in our time, Harry. That's it. All right,
I know. Well, listen. Here's what I did. Here's what I've done. Did you
chat GPT it? Did you use the robots to come up with your prediction?
Come on,
use the robot.
What'd they say? Harry?
And what I found is that Travis is chat GPT. Like Travis, you are. So check this out. And listen, if I didn't use chat GPT, I was going to say France because I feel like Mbappe. I think Mbappe is the best player in the world right now. So I would just go with the best player in the world, team. But so it's top picks: France, Spain, Brazil. Like it says Argentina and England as our top 5. Okay. Dark horses: Portugal, Germany, Morocco, United States. Yeah. So there you go. Like you either like France, Spain. I think dark horse. Obviously you're going to give love to the States. But it says, and here's where I said your ChatGPT. It says, and this is ChatGPT saying, I could absolutely see the U.S. making a quarterfinal run. And and it gives a few reasons, right? But so anyway, so ChatGPT, Travis Thomas, same deal.
Chat TLT, baby. Chat TLT.
That's right. I got. I'm just gonna say that I feel like England is going to win this. I don't know why. I just feel like there's something about that England squad.
I love England. I love the England squad.
9 teams in the Europe next year out of the EPL. It's insane.
Yeah,
the toughest league in the world. So I feel like that it's either that. I feel like it's either them or Spain. And then I'm gonna my dark horse. I do like Portugal. That is a good dark horse. I was gonna try and go. I was gonna try and go out of the European world. So I don't think Brazil is considered a dark horse, but I feel like there's something there too with their manager.
And here's my thing.
They're kind of undercover this year. There's like not a lot of buzz about them.
That's it. That's what I love about Brazil.
There for Brazil as well, and Neymar, his energy, and I don't know. So those are Brazil, Portugal, dark horses, and then England, Spain.
Yeah, we talk about the pressure of expectations. To your point, Josh, and I think every World Cup, everyone's always like, if Brazil doesn't win it, it's a failure. And I think coming into this World Cup, I don't think that's sitting on them like it has in the past, and like take away that extra unneeded pressure, and they might just be playing with house money. That's a dangerous team playing with house money.
Heck yeah, they are. And plus, Gabriel at the back, he's just so good. He's the best player ever.
They usually have a few players who are pretty good with the ball.
Because he's an Arsenal defender. I think if Arsenal played in the World Cup, they would win it. I'm just going to say that too.
Of course you do, Josh.
That's where I'm at right now in my brain.
Of course you do.
I've been levitating for easily a week and a half now. Just levitating.
And you're not done yet, baby. You're not done.
No, well, hey, listen, it's funny. I'm literally going to be levitating because I'm going to be on a plane during the Champions League final. So I'll be watching it on a plane. I hope that the people in my row do not mind me screaming and throwing things. That's
Well,
gonna be all right.
just don't keep yelling.
Involved.
Just don't keep yelling "Gunner, Gunner, Gunner" during the plane
No,
ride.
yeah, I will not do that. I'll just
No,
sing
don't do
North
that.
London Forever like over and over again. And
What they should do, they should pump in that crowd noise you were talking about.
Yeah.
into the
Travis.
plane.
Yeah, if anyone wants, go to my my Patreon page, and you can download my World Cup wait noise for free.
I don't even know what are you talking about? Patreon? What is that? Travis is. We've gone ChatGPT. We've gone Patreon. I don't even know where we are anymore.
Kool-Aid.
Well, listen, I do know where I'm going to be during the USA World Cup matches, and I'm going to be in front of some screen somewhere, watching, screaming, yelling, and you know, and pulling for the red, white, and blue, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Once every 4 years, team, and this is the only second time we've hosted it, so let's make it a good showing. Anything to plug? Any thoughts out? Anything you guys want to leave the listeners with before we bounce out of here?
Harry, I mean, I think, not just every World Cup team, but especially the U.S. team. You know what they need to do today and every day? They need to win today.
Oh.
Yeah. And we opened up with a little shout out to
JoshuaLifrak.com, www.JoshuaLifrak.com.
Joshua Lifrak, MS.
I like Lifrak.
Amazon.com.
Joshua Lifrak.
For my international listeners, Waterstones, you can get it there.
I love it, man. Yeah,
hey,
it's a real book, Travis. It's weird. Like I got it in the mail. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a real book.
Now it's a coloring book, everyone, but it is a real book.
It is. And if you stay inside the lines, you win today. That's it. You just gotta stay inside the lines.
It's also any words you do see, it's all like written like Dr. Seuss style.
So I can't believe Josh rhymed the entire thing Seussian.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
There is.
Check it out. I will say, check it out.
How to make sure people never buy your book by Travis Thomas.
No. I think people are going to be intrigued. They're like, oh, actually, this sounds great.
There is exercises and there will be a workbook, just so y'all know. All right. Okay. So maybe there's going to be coloring in the workbook. Huh?
Hey, listen, gentlemen. Hey, be the guys you know you are.
Hey, everybody, go subscribe to the Limitless Minds podcast. Pound that subscribe button. You don't have to be sick to get better. Peace.